I am Pratap here. I wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year 2025. Today is 1st January 2025. In this video, I am going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. Even before that, all of you please understand we are providing complete free training on supply demand zone price action. All the training lessons are available at our NeoStock YouTube channel. You might be knowing the cost of the training is over 8,000 US dollars and it is a complete free training. And at our channel homepage, please click on the tab post. Some of you might be seeing the tab community. Click on the tab. You get access to the post having our free training course. And here this post is having a YouTube playlist link that will take you to all the training lessons. You just click on the link. And here you have all the training lessons are available at our supply demand zone price action course YouTube playlist. You just need to scroll down to the bottom of the page. Here, starting from lesson 1.1, all the training lessons are placed in an order. So please go through all these lessons one by one and strengthen your skills related to supply demand zone price action. I have also provided the link to our Telegram channel in this video description. Please join at our Telegram channel. It might be helpful to you. Now let's generate the reports. First, we will find the stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames, starting with quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly demand zone. We got 3 stocks. I am giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. I request you pause the video, study the report. After that you can proceed further. In case if you don't understand how to study the report, I request you complete our training lesson 21.1. In that video I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next, quarterly time frame. Stocks near quarterly supply zone. Again 3 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone. 9 stocks are filtered. Next, monthly time frame. Stocks near monthly supply zone. 2 stocks are filtered. Next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly demand zone. And these monthly demand zones should not be pierced. So at pierced count parameter at monthly time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0, which indicates pierced count should be 0 at monthly time frame. That means monthly zones demand zone should not be pierced. Okay. These are the stocks filtered. These are the first 19 stocks where price closed inside the monthly demand zone. I am scrolling the list down. So total 31 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the monthly demand zone. Out of these 31, there could be some high probability setup supported zones based on the monthly EMA Confluence. So let's set the filter. In the EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, I am selecting the filter monthly demand zone having monthly EMA Confluence. But EMA Confluence makes sense only in the trending market but not sideways. That's why in the trend at monthly time frame, I am selecting up or downtrend but not sideways. So now 16 stocks are filtered. These 16 monthly demand zones are having monthly EMA Confluence. Okay, next, monthly time frame. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. These monthly supply zones should not be pierced. So at Pierce count, monthly time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. We got only 3 stocks. Currently price closed in these 3 monthly supply zones. Let's verify any of these monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence at monthly time frame, I am selecting the filter monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence. None of the stocks are having monthly EMA Confluence. Okay, next time frame is weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone. 13 stocks are filtered. Next, weekly time frame. Stocks near weekly supply zone. 10 stocks are filtered. Okay, next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly demand zone, and these weekly demand zones should not be pierced. So at pierced count, weekly time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. So we got a big list. First 16 stocks where price closed inside the weekly demand zone. I am scrolling the list down. So total 39 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the weekly demand zone. We can further filter this list based on the weekly demand zones having high probability, based on the EMA weekly demand zone with weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, I am selecting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. And also the trend should be either up or down, but not sideways on weekly time frame. So I am selecting up or down. Now let's filter. Now the list is come down to 17 stocks. In all these 17 weekly demand zones are having a weekly EMA confluence, and also current price closed inside these weekly demand zones. Okay. Next, weekly time frame. Weekly time frame. Price closed inside the weekly supply zone, and these weekly supply zones should not be pierced. So at weekly time frame in the pierced count, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means weekly supply zone should not be pierced. We got 15 stocks. Currently price closed in these 15 weekly supply zones. We can further filter this list with a high probability weekly supply zones having weekly EMA confluence. Let's set that filter for these 15 stocks. So EMA confluence, weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence, and the trend should not be sideways on weekly, so I am selecting up or down. Let's filter. We got 5 stocks. Currently price closed in these 5 weekly supply zones. And these 5 weekly supply zones are having weekly EMA confluence. Okay, this is about weekly time frame. Next time frame is a daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near to the daily demand zone. We got 10 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity daily demand zones from this list. NIFTY media is pierced, not valid. Atul is having a high liquidity daily demand zone. That's it. We have only one high liquidity daily demand zone from this list. Okay, next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks near daily supply zone. 11 stocks are filtered. Let us identify high liquidity daily supply zones from this list. MGL is having a high liquidity zone. Polycab is having a high liquidity zone. Torrent Pharma is having a high liquidity zone. Zydus Life is having a high liquidity zone. So we identified 4 daily high liquidity supply zones from this list. Okay, next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks where price closed inside the daily demand zone. And these daily demand zones should not be pierced. So at pierced count parameter at daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter the stocks. So this is the filtered list, the first 15 stocks in the list where price closed inside the daily demand zone. I am scrolling the list down. So total 26 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the daily demand zone. We can further filter this list by adding the high probability parameter daily EMA Confluence. How many of these daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence? Let's add that filter. In the EMA Confluence at a daily time frame, I am setting the filter daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence. While using EMA Confluence, the trend should not be sideways. Daily trend can be either uptrend or downtrend. Because sideways trend EMA does not make any sense. Okay, let's filter the stocks. We got 6 stocks. Currently price closed in these 6 daily demand zones, and these daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence. Okay, this is about price closed inside the daily demand zones. Next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks where price closed inside the daily supply zone. And these daily supply zones should not be pierced. So at pierced count at daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0, and let's filter the stocks. And the first 15 stocks in the list where price closed inside the daily supply zone. Let me scroll the list down. Total 23 stocks are filtered where price closed inside the daily supply zone. We can further filter this list by setting the high probability parameter EMA Confluence. Daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. So in the EMA Confluence parameter at a daily time frame, I am selecting the filter daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence. And in the EMA Confluence, trend should not be sideways on daily time frame. It can be up or down. So let me filter the stocks. We got 12 stocks. Currently, these 12 stocks are having daily EMA Confluence. And current price closed inside the daily supply zone. Okay, this is about daily time frame. And the next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. 7 stocks are filtered. Next, 125 minutes time frame. Stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. First 15 stocks in the list. I am scrolling the list down. So total 16 stocks are filtered. Okay, next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near the 75 minutes demand zone. 8 stocks are filtered. Let us identify high liquidity zones from this list. CESC is having a 75 minutes high liquidity demand zone. That's it. We have only one high liquidity 75 minutes demand zone from this list. Okay, next 75 minutes time frame. Stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Let us identify high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. Federal Bank is having a high liquidity supply zone. Hindustan Petroleum is having a high liquidity 75 minute supply zone. NYKAA is also having high liquidity 75 minute supply zone. This is also having high liquidity demand zone also. Sometimes, either side we get trade opportunities when both are high liquidity zones. Okay, these are the 4 high liquidity, 4 or 3. First one, second one, third one. We have 3 high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. Okay. Next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. 7 stocks are filtered. Next 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 25 minutes supply zone. 6 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. 4 stocks are filtered. Let's identify how many of these stocks are having ITF confluence. That is a 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. So with this filter we got 2 stocks. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame. Stocks near 15 minutes supply zone. 4 stocks are filtered. Let's verify how many of these supply zones are having ITF confluence. That is a 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. We got 3 stocks. In all these 3 stocks, you have to ignore the third one. It is already pierced. The remaining 2 stocks, they are part of the 75 minute supply zone. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. 4 stocks are filtered. Let us look for LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 5 minutes and 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. Out of 4, 2 stocks are having ITF confluence. That means these 5 minutes demand zones are part of the 15 minutes demand zone. Okay, next let us look for 5 minutes time frame. Stocks near 5 minutes supply zone. 8 stocks are filtered. Let's verify how many of these supply zones are having ITF confluence. That is 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. Let's filter. So 4 stocks. Out of these 4, 4th one is pierced, not valid, and the remaining 3 stocks, these 5 minute supply zones are part of the 15 minute supply zone. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones. Also we identified daily and 75 minutes high liquidity zones. The next set of reports are about NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. First let's start with NIFTY. generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. This is NIFTY monthly supply demand zone chain. Always look into the zone column to find high liquidity zones, and look into the pierced column to find any pierced zones. They are not valid for trading purpose. And next, look for LTF trend always to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. Apply the same rules for the remaining reports, and also don't forget to pause the video when you are moving from one report to another report, because I am giving you only few seconds time. Okay, next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, next, daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Okay, next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. For more demand zones, I am scrolling the list down. Okay, next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. All these are all supply zones. For demand zones, I am scrolling the list down. Okay, this is about NIFTY supply demand zone chain. Next reports are about BANKNIFTY. So that is nothing but NIFTY Bank. So generating monthly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 125 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 75 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 25 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Okay, next, 15 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Okay, next, 5 minutes supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. So this is about BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain. The next set of reports are about bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly and daily income trades. First, I am generating monthly income trade bullish trade setup, entry time frame daily, entry zone demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at daily time frame, I am selecting bullish. the daily demand zone should not be pierced. So at pierced count at a daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0. Sorry, some mistake I am doing. This is price motion. I have to select the parameter pierced count. Sorry for the mistake. So in the pierced count at a daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0 and the maximum value 0. That indicates zone pierced count should be 0. Pierced count 0 means the zone is not pierced. So it's a healthy zone. Okay, zone achievement is violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. And all the three filters. Three filters means pierced count, zone achievement and minimum odd enhancer score. All the three filters are applied to daily demand zone. Whichever the zone you select, that zone the filters will be applied. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 13 stocks. Currently these 13 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade, and the entry time frame is daily demand zone. And in these 13 daily demand zones, some demand zones are already high probability daily demand zones based on the high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we should also further filter based on the zone confluence that you learned in lesson 27. So we have two filters. First filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is a daily and a weekly demand zone confluence. So I am enabling the filter daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. Now from these 13 stocks, we got 8 stocks are filtered. That means in these 8 stocks, these daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. They are overlapped with weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is up in all these stocks. Weekly means ITF trend. Because daily is part of the weekly and weekly trend is up, if weekly demand zone is having weekly EMA confluence, those stocks could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. Let us filter those stocks. In the EMA confluence weekly time frame, because the daily zone is part of the weekly zone. That's why we are setting the filter weekly demand zone having weekly EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 6 stocks. So these 6 stocks are more high probability trade setup supported stocks based on LTF, ITF confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Okay, next filter is about LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. So I am removing EMA filter. So in the demand zone confluence, we have to set 3 filters: daily, weekly and monthly demand zone confluence. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly. Second filter, daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. Third filter, weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence, we did not get any stocks. So currently no stocks supporting this LTF, ITF, HTF setup. Okay, fine. This is about bullish trade setup, monthly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup, monthly income trade, entry time frame daily, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at monthly time frame, I am selecting bearish. This daily supply zone should not be pierced. So at pierced count, at a daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement, violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to daily supply zone. Let's verify. So currently there are no stocks supporting bearish trade setup for a monthly income trade. If you have any questions, look into this search strategy. This tells you anything. See, zone achievement VOZ. Odd enhancer score greater than 12. Bullish trade setup should be monthly time frame. Some mistake here. See, we identified the mistake by seeing this. You need to set this parameter on the LTF time frame, but not HTF time frame. That's why we didn't get the stocks. I made a mistake here. So let me change the mistake. here I made this mistake. In bullish trade setup, always we need to set this filter on the entry time frame. What is our entry time frame? Entry time frame is daily. So that's why in the daily time frame I need to select bearish. Daily demand, daily supply zone with bearish trade setup. Now let me filter. We got 3 stocks. Sometimes mistakes will not filter the right stocks. Okay, out of these 3, how many are having ITF Confluence? Let us verify. That is the daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. I am enabling the filter. With this filter, out of the 3 stocks, we got all the 3 stocks. That means all these 3 daily demand zones are part of the weekly demand zone. And weekly trend is down in all these stocks because it is bearish trade setup. If any of these weekly zones are having, because daily zone is part of weekly and weekly supply zone is having weekly EMA Confluence, those stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence weekly time frame, I am setting the filter weekly supply zone with weekly EMA Confluence. And 2 stocks are filtered. These 2 are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Maybe that is the reason why, see, this stock is already tested 2 times. That means in the past they already gave you the trade opportunities. And even SBI card also given 3 tests. Okay. Next parameter is LTF, ITF and HTF zone confluence. Earlier, what are the stocks? 2 stocks are filtered out of 3. Okay, now LTF, ITF, I am removing EMA filter, LTF, ITF and HTF. So in the supply zone confluence, 3 filters we have to set. First filter is already enabled, daily with weekly zone confluence. Next, daily with monthly supply zone confluence. And weekly with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, we got only 1 stock. So this stock is this daily supply zone is part of the weekly supply zone, both together part of the monthly supply zone. If the monthly supply zone is having monthly EMA, then this stock could be even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let's verify. In the EMA confluence at monthly time frame, because daily and weekly together part of the monthly zone. So that's why monthly supply zone with monthly EMA confluence we are verifying. And the stock is filtered. That means this is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. So this is about bearish trade setup monthly income trade. So next one is a bullish trade setup weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bullish. And this 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated, opposing zone, minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes demand zone. We got 7 stocks. Currently these 7 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade, and all these entry time frame zones are 75 minutes demand zones. And among these 75 minutes demand zones, some are high liquidity zones, supports high probability setup. Apart from that, we can also filter high probability setup stocks based on zone confluence. So the first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. So let me add that filter. In the demand zone confluence, the 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence filter I am enabling. With this filter, we got 4 stocks. In these 4 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are part of the daily demand zone, and daily trend is up in all these stocks, ITF trend. Because 75 minute zone is part of the daily and the daily zone is having daily EMA, they could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify them. Let us filter. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame, daily demand zone with daily EMA confluence filter is enabled. With this filter, we got only one stock. So this demand zone is a high probability trade setup zone. Okay. Next filter is LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, let us set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, 75 with daily. Second filter, 75 minutes demand zone with the weekly demand zone confluence. Third filter, daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. All the three filters are enabled. With this LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these 75 minutes demand zones are part of the daily, both together again part of the weekly. And the weekly trend is up in the first 2 stocks. Out of these 3, first 2 stocks are having, any of the first 2 stocks are having weekly EMA, could be even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at weekly time frame, because 75 minutes together with daily is part of the weekly. That's why we are looking for weekly demand zone with weekly EMA confluence. With this filter, we did not get any stocks. So this is about bullish trade setup weekly income trade. Next, bearish trade setup weekly income trade, entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes time frame, I am selecting bearish. 75 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, minimum value I am setting 0, maximum value 0. That means 75 minute supply zone is not pierced. Zone achievement violated, opposing zone, minimum odd enhanced score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minute supply zone. Let's filter. We got 10 stocks. Currently these 10 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade, and entry time frame zones are 75 minute supply zones. All these 10 stocks are having 75 minute supply zones as entry zones, entry time frame. And some of these zones are high liquidity zones that supports high probability setup. Apart from that, high probability setup also we can filter based on LTF and ITF zone confluence and LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence. First filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. With this filter, we got 7 stocks. In these 7 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone. And daily trend is down in all these stocks, that is ITF trend. So if we look for EMA confluence on the daily time frame, it is even more high probability trade setup, because 75 minute supply zone is part of the daily supply zone. That's why we are looking for daily supply zone with daily EMA confluence. So I set the filter. Now we got 5 stocks. These 5 are even more high probability trade setup, 75 minute supply zones. The 75 minute supply zones are part of daily supply zone. The daily supply zone is having daily EMA confluence. And of course, daily trend is down. That's why these are the bearish trade setup supported stocks based on LTF, ITF confluence and ITF EMA confluence. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence and HTF EMA confluence. I am removing this EMA filter. In the supply zone confluence, I am setting 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, 75 with daily supply zone confluence. Second filter, 75 minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. Third filter is daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 3 stocks. In these 3 stocks, these 75 minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone, both together again part of the weekly supply zone. And weekly trend is down in the first stock and second stock. If they are having any weekly EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. The EMA confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zone having weekly EMA confluence. And first one is high probability, but it is an indices, FMCG. Second one you can ignore because it is sideways. Sideways trend EMA Confluence does not add any extra advantage. Okay, this is about bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. And the next one is bullish trade setup for daily income trade, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes entry time frame, I am selecting bullish. And these 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So at pierced count at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0, zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd enhanced score 12. All three filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Let's filter. We got 8 stocks. Currently these 8 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade, and these entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. All these are all 15 minutes demand zones. Some of these 15 minutes demand zones are high probability demand zones based on the high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we can also further filter high probability zones based on demand zone confluence. Sorry, this is the demand zone confluence. The first filter is LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. With this filter, we further filtered with 5 stocks. And these 5 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is uptrend in all these stocks, bullish trade setup. If any of these 75 minutes stocks demand zones are having a daily EMA, they could be even more high probability because 15 minutes demand zone is part of the 75 minutes demand zone. So in the EMA Confluence at 75 minutes time frame, we are looking for 75 minutes demand zone with daily EMA Confluence. With this filter, we got 1 stock. So this is a high probability trade setup supported stock. Even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Okay, next let us filter based on LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. So I am removing this ITF EMA confluence. In the demand zone confluence, we should set 3 filters. First filter is already enabled, 15 minutes with 75 minutes zone confluence. Next 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. And 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. All the filters are enabled. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence, we got 4 stocks. In these 4 stocks, these 15 minutes demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. Again, both together part of the daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in all these stocks except the 4th one. You can ignore the 4th one. In the first 3 stocks, if any of the daily demand zones are having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let us verify. In the EMA confluence at daily time frame. Why daily? Because 15 minute zone together with 75 minute zone is part of the daily zone. That's why we are looking for daily demand zone with daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 2 stocks. And both stocks HTF trend is uptrend. So both these stocks are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Okay, this is about bullish trade setup daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup daily income trade, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes entry time frame, I am selecting bearish. This 15 minute supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count parameter at 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced, 15 minute supply zones. And zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. All 3 parameters or all 3 filters applied to 15 minute supply zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 6 stocks. Currently these 6 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade, and entry time frame zones are 15-minute supply zones. All these 15-minute supply zones are entry time frame zones. Out of these 6 15-minute supply zones, some are already high probability setup zones based on the high liquidity zones. Apart from that, we can also further filter based on LTF and ITF supply zone confluence, LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is 15-minute supply zone with 75-minute supply zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. With this filter, we got 6 stocks. In all these 6 stocks, these 15-minute supply zones are part of the 75-minute supply zone. And 75-minute trend is down in all the stocks, that is ITF trend. Because 75-minute trend is down and these 15-minute supply zones are part of the 75-minute supply zone. If 75 minutes supply zone is having daily EMA confluence, there could be even more high probability setup stocks. Let us verify. In the 75 minutes time frame, 75 minute supply zone with the daily EMA confluence filter is enabled. With this filter, out of 6 stocks, we did not get any stock. So none of the stocks are having 75 minute supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF and HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing this ITF of EMA filter. Now we should focus on HTF, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. First filter is already enabled, 15 minutes with 75 minute supply zone confluence. Second filter, 15 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. Third filter, 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we did not get any stocks. So that means none of the stocks are having LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. Is it perfect? Yes, look into this. In supply zone confluence, daily 75, daily 15, 75 minutes 15. So none of them are having the confluence. Okay, this is about bearish trade setup for daily income trade. And in the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. First 17 in this list are indices, remaining all are equity stocks. So I keep on scrolling the list down, whichever the stock you want to refer, there you please pause the video. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.